Hi guys, and welcome back to our IELTS reading course. And this is actually our last module for the reading course and our entire course. So we'll be reviewing general reading strategies and tips for the reading section. And here you'll learn some tips and tricks that I wasn't able to include in our previous modules. So I'll be explaining about that, and also I would like to share with you things you need to know before taking your test and what you need to do while taking your test. So I hope it's going to be very helpful for you, and let's get started. And now we are going to discuss about important point that will help you to ace the IELTS reading module. Remember that you need to write your answers on the answer sheet. What it means is that you have to write down the answers on the answer sheet as you do the reading test, which means while you're reading your passages, you need to write down your answers to your answer sheet. Sometimes students think that they will have extra time to do so, just like in the listening portion of the test. However, you will not be given extra time to transfer your answers. So you have to use your time wisely and make sure while you are reading your passages, you are transferring your answers to your answer sheet. Another important point to keep in mind is that you do not need to read the reading passage first. It is a mistake to read the passage first without reading the questions. Also, some questions require you to find specific details in the passage without your knowledge of the entire content. So you don't need to know and read the entire content sometimes. When you see some questions, you automatically can go back and find specific words in the passage and locate some information that you need for answering some questions. Remember that some tasks only require you scan for specific information in the text, so do not begin reading the passages first. Reading text in logical order. So here we have the following sentence that gives a suggested order in which to look at the information in any of the three parts of the reading test. As you remember, our three parts of the test, it's our three passages. So our sentence here states the following: to have bright prospects, intelligently answer each question. So as you see on this page, we are going to discuss three words we have from the sentence. So to have bright, so T stands for title, H stands for heading, and B stands for bold printed words. So let's review each one separately. So for example, title. Title is very important. So this is a strategy you have to keep in mind, that reading title is very important because it can give you a rough idea about the main topic of the passage. Also, remember that if you do not understand the meaning of the title, it's totally fine, and just continue reading and until you start understanding what the idea of the passage or paragraph. Next one you have, it's a H. H stands for heading. So the headings for each section of the passage refer to what is contained in each section and where information can be located. So make sure you do not skip headings and you actually read them as well. They also help you to predict what the passage is about, so headings are very important. And the next point we have, it's a B. B, it stands for bold printed words, and they indicate that those words are they have some kind of importance. They can also help you to predict information contained in the passage. So just keep in mind, if you see the words in bold, they have some kind of importance. They would not be in bold if they would not be important. So make sure you are paying attention to these words. Our letter P stands for picture. As you remember, it is said that a picture is worth 1,000 words. It's a beautiful quote, but this is very true. Remember that you always need to look at illustrations, figures, tables, graphs, and diagrams that accompany a reading passage. They often summarize, add important detail, or make information in the passage clearer. For example, if you do not understand the passage and you look at the diagram or picture you have, that can help you to answer the question. So that's why do not ignore the pictures or diagrams or graphics presented. So make sure you study them very well too. Our letter I stands for instructions. So remember that the instructions contain important information as well, and you must read it. And if you do not read the instructions, you will almost certainly answer some of the questions in the wrong manner. The instruction may also contain clues about the information contained in the passage, so make sure you read your instructions, and especially some of them tell you how many words exactly you need to write down in your answer sheet. For example, sometimes it can be one word, sometimes 2 or 3, so it depends on your task. And next letter we have, it's an A, so A stands for answers. So you have to keep that in mind. So what kind of answers do you need to give? So just think about that and ask yourself this question. The instructions will tell you. So we are going back to our letter I, which talks about instructions. I keep that in mind. And the kind of answers that are required also tell you more about the information within the passage. And ask yourself, is the answer a name, a date, or a number, etc.? So it depends on that. So what kind of information, what kind of answer you need to provide. Next point we have, next letter we have is an E. It stands for example. So the example not only provides you with the correct way to answer the questions, it also tells you in summarized form more about the passage itself. You are not wasting time by examining the example and the answer it gives. So a lot of times, for example, you don't understand the main idea and it has a lot of technical terms and you're not sure about the vocabulary. But if you read your example, you can actually understand better the main idea. So maybe if you don't understand the main idea or reason you have presented, so try to read the example. So examples, they always follow with transition words such as like for example, or it can be for instance. There are different ways to present it, but make sure you don't ignore them and you try to read them as well. And the last one we have, it's a letter Q, which stands for questions. So finally, the questions themselves provide valuable hints about the ideas contained in the passages, as well as specific information to look for on your first reading. So remember these letters, remember your sentence that I read for you previously, and that will help you to keep in mind these important points.